Welcome to Today in History, our channel, where we dive daily into the most fascinating, weird, and mind-blowing events that have happened throughout time. In addition to our daily videos, we also delve into the lesser-known aspects of history, exploring the events and actions that have shaped our world. Today, we're diving into the life of one of Rome's most infamous emperors, Caligula. Known for his extreme cruelty, eccentricities, and sheer madness, Caligula's reign was a roller coaster of excess, violence, and bizarre behavior. But who was Caligula really? Was he as insane as history makes him out to be? Or is there more to the story? Buckle up, because we're about to explore the wild and twisted world of Rome's most notorious emperor. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. The early life of Caligula. Caligula was born Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus on August 31st, 12 AD, into the illustrious Julio-Claudian dynasty. He was the son of the beloved Roman general Germanicus and Agrippina the Elder, the granddaughter of Emperor Augustus. From a young age, Caligula was surrounded by power, intrigue, and danger. His nickname, Caligula, meaning little boot, came from the small military boots he wore while accompanying his father on campaigns. Little did anyone know, this cute nickname would soon be associated with terror. Caligula's childhood was marred by tragedy. His father, Germanicus, died under suspicious circumstances when Caligula was only 7 years old, and his mother and brothers were later arrested and exiled by Emperor Tiberius, who saw them as threats to his power. Caligula was spared, but was taken under Tiberius's wing, where he lived in a palace of paranoia and debauchery on the island of Capri. It was here that Caligula's dark side began to emerge. Caligula's rise to power. When Emperor Tiberius died in 37 AD, Caligula ascended to the throne with widespread support. Rome greeted him as a savior, hoping he would restore the glory of the empire after the gloomy reign of Tiberius. Initially, Caligula did not disappoint. He granted bonuses to the military, freed political prisoners, and hosted lavish games and public entertainments. The people of Rome were in love with their new young emperor, who seemed to embody the spirit of his great-grandfather, Augustus. But this honeymoon period didn't last long. Just months into his reign, Caligula fell seriously ill. Though he recovered, the man who emerged from this sickness was a changed and much more dangerous ruler. Whether the illness triggered a mental breakdown or simply revealed his true nature is still debated. But what followed was a descent into madness that shocked Rome to its core. The madness of Caligula. Caligula's reign quickly devolved into one of the most tyrannical and bizarre in Roman history. He declared himself a living god, demanding that he be worshipped as such. Statues of himself were erected throughout the empire, and he even ordered the construction of a temple where he could be worshipped. Caligula's belief in his divinity reached such heights that he reportedly planned to appoint his favorite horse, Incitatus, as a consul and priest. He had a luxurious marble stable built for the horse, complete with ivory mangers and purple blankets. Caligula's cruelty knew no bounds. He delighted in humiliating the Senate, often forcing senators to run alongside his chariot for miles or perform demeaning tasks. He would invite guests to lavish banquets, only to have them executed on a whim. The stories of his sadistic amusements are endless, from forcing parents to watch their children's executions to turning the palace into a brothel where he prostituted the wives of noblemen. But Caligula's madness wasn't limited to personal cruelty. It extended to his administration of the empire. He squandered Rome's vast wealth on extravagant construction projects, such as building a massive floating bridge across the Bay of Baiae, just so he could ride his horse across it. When the treasury ran dry, Caligula resorted to confiscating the property of wealthy citizens and executing them for imaginary crimes to seize their fortunes. Before we move into the next chapter, we would like to ask you for a favor. If you are enjoying the video, please support us by subscribing to our channel. Click the like button and share the video. It means a lot to us. Thank you. Caligula's foreign policy and military campaigns. Caligula's madness wasn't confined to Rome. It also shaped his foreign policy. One of his most infamous acts was his supposed invasion of Britain. According to ancient sources, instead of launching a genuine military campaign, Caligula marched his troops to the northern coast of Gaul and ordered them to collect seashells as spoils of war. These shells, he claimed, were trophies from his victory over Neptune, the god of the sea. Despite these bizarre actions, Caligula did have some military successes. He secured the loyalty of the Roman legions through generous pay and public displays of affection. However, his erratic behavior and frequent executions of officers created unrest within the ranks, undermining the effectiveness of his military command. Caligula's relationships and personal life. Caligula's personal life was as chaotic as his reign. He was married 4 times, and each marriage was marked by scandal and tragedy. His first wife, Julio-Claudian, died in childbirth, and Caligula's subsequent marriages were characterized by jealousy, infidelity, and violence. He was also rumored to have committed incest with his sisters, particularly Drusilla, whom he adored and even deified after her death. Caligula's relationships were often fueled by paranoia. He trusted no one, and his fear of assassination led him to execute or exile anyone he perceived as a threat, including his own family members. His increasing isolation and distrust only deepened his madness, leading to even more erratic and violent behavior. The assassination of Caligula. Caligula's reign of terror inevitably led to his downfall. By 41 AD, just 4 years into his reign, the emperor had made countless enemies in the Senate, the military, and even his own household. A conspiracy to remove him from power began to take shape, led by officers of the Praetorian Guard, the very soldiers who were supposed to protect him. On January 24th, 41 AD, Caligula was assassinated by a group of conspirators led by Cassius Chaerea, a tribune of the Praetorian Guard. According to historical accounts, Caligula was stabbed 30 times in the palace as he addressed a group of performers. His wife, Caesonia, and his infant daughter, Julia Drusilla, were also killed in the aftermath to prevent any potential claims to the throne. Caligula's death was met with a mixture of relief and fear. Rome had been freed from the tyrant, but the empire was left in chaos. The Senate briefly considered restoring the Republic, but the Praetorian Guard quickly declared Caligula's uncle, Claudius, as the new emperor. Thus, the Julio-Claudian dynasty continued, but the shadow of Caligula's reign would linger over Rome for years to come. The legacy of Caligula. Caligula's legacy is one of infamy. His name has become synonymous with madness, cruelty, and excess. Ancient historians like Suetonius, Tacitus, and Dio Cassius painted a picture of Caligula as a monster, a man driven by his own delusions of godhood and an insatiable thirst for power. However, it's important to remember that much of what we know about Caligula comes from sources that were written after his death, often by those who had reason to vilify him. Some modern historians argue that Caligula's actions, while extreme, were not entirely without precedent in Roman history. His predecessors, such as Tiberius and Nero, also engaged in acts of cruelty and debauchery, though perhaps not to the same extent. Additionally, some of the more outlandish stories about Caligula, such as the seashells incident, may have been exaggerated or fabricated to discredit him further. Despite this, there is no denying that Caligula's reign was one of the darkest periods in Roman history. His actions not only caused immense suffering, but also weakened the foundations of the empire, setting the stage for future instability. That brings us to the end of the video. The story of Caligula is a cautionary tale about the dangers of absolute power and the corrupting influence of unchecked authority. His reign serves as a reminder that even the mightiest empires can be brought to the brink of collapse by the whims of a single, unstable ruler. As we look back on Caligula's life and reign, we are left with more questions than answers. Was he truly insane? Or was he simply a product of the ruthless environment in which he was raised? Was he a man driven by his own desires, or was he a pawn in the larger game of Roman politics? Whatever the case may be, Caligula remains one of history's most fascinating and terrifying figures. If you found this exploration of Caligula's life intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the most captivating stories from history. Let us know in the comments what other historical figures you'd like us to cover, and stay tuned for more episodes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.